I'd like to call our meeting to order. Roll call.
Councilman Samaluka? Here. Councilwoman Dorminio?
Here.
Councilman Garrick?
Here.
Councilman Arcomando?
Here.
Council President Mason?
Here. Please rise for the salute to the flag. I ask you to please remain standing for a moment of silence in memory of Saddlebrook High School student Andrew Gutierrez and the victims of the Parkland, Florida school shooting, and also Saddlebrook retired police officer Ken Slowick. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Adequate notice of this meeting has been sent to all council members and to all legal newspapers in accordance with the provisions of the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231, Public Law 1975.
The public is hereby advised that any statements made during the meeting of the Township Council of the Township of Saddlebrook may not be privileged or protected, and that persons or entities who take issue with such comments or are offended by saying may and have in the past sought legal redress through the courts. Any member of the public who addresses the council speaks for themselves and not for the council.
At this time, I believe the mayor has some presentations.
Thank you, Council President. I just want to recognize a few people in the audience. Maybe we should turn them off. We have with us here this evening Police Chief Robert Kugler. We have Fire Chief Chris Saloma, Captain Harry Reed from the Ambulance Corps. I saw Harry a second ago. I don't know, maybe there he is. Good to see you, Harry. And we also have Andy Gallo, our Recreation Director. Tonight, we're going to celebrate Women in History Month. March is Women in History Month, and for many years now, our mayors have been recognizing women from our community who've made significant contributions to our civic, political, and cultural life. When I took office, I decided to change the format by narrowing the selection process on the basis of contribution in 5 specific categories. I did that because it was difficult. We have so many noteworthy women that should be or can be recognized, and it rather than be here all night, decided to pick one person for each category. Those categories are community service, government official, outstanding citizen, excellence in education, and business leader. Our first honoree tonight is for community service. The honoree is Shannon Accomundo. Stay up here, Shannon. I'm gonna talk a little bit about Shannon. I don't want to embarrass you, but Shannon was born in Hackensack, New Jersey, to Linda and Joseph Russell. She was raised in Lodi and has lived in Saddlebrook for 15 years. Shannon graduated from Lodi High School in 1992 and from William Patterson University in 1997 with a bachelor's degree in psychology and elementary education. She's married to Todd Accomundo, Councilman Todd Accomundo, and they have 2 children, Todd and Gavin. Shannon is employed by AT&T as a customer service experience area manager. In October, she will be celebrating her 20th year with the company. She was the 2015 recipient of the Summit Award, which recognizes extraordinary leadership and contribution to the organization. Shannon is also the co-chairwoman of our Projects and Activities Committee here in Saddlebrook, where she has organized many township events. She has devoted countless hours to make sure the events are fun, run smoothly, and memorable for everyone. And when I became mayor, we all have to work together. And part of being mayor and being a council person, being a leader, you have to put people in the right positions. And that was one of the best decisions I made, putting Shannon where where she is because she's done a tremendous job. When I see, first of all, I couldn't do it. I'm not suited for it, and she is, as well as my secretary Christine Genurario and our councilwoman Karen Darminio. They just do a fabulous job, and I wouldn't know where to start. But all I know is when I go to these events and I see the joy on the faces of the children or the seniors or whoever we're having the event for, it really warms my heart. It's a great thing to be able to see. So Shannon, thank you so much for all you do for the town, and God bless.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Next, we have role as a government official. Norma Ado, police officer Norma Ado, please come up. Norma was born in Havana, Cuba, to Joe and Norma. At the age of 6 months old, her family moved to Union City, New Jersey, where she remained until moving to Saddlebrook in March 2014. Norma has 2 children, Skylar and Paul, and 2 grandchildren, Isaiah and Camilla. Norma graduated from Union City High School in Union City. After graduation, she worked in a customer service and retail industry, and then in 2000 became an emergency medical technician and 911 dispatcher for the city of North Bergen. In 2006, Norma took the police test and scored #1 on the list. She was offered employment by the Hudson County Sheriff's Department in 2017. While working as a sheriff on the Sheriff's Department, she received a 2007, I'm sorry. While working at the Sheriff's Department, she received a life-saving award from the New Jersey PBA. In March of 2014, Norma was transferred to the Saddlebrook Police Department, and on the 24th of this month will mark her 4 years serving our community. When Norma is not policing the streets of Saddlebrook, she enjoys watching movies and spending time with her family and her rescue cats. Norma thanks Chief Robert Kugler and myself for her wonderful employment opportunity, especially Captain Chris Mamone and Lieutenant Victor Van Dyke for their guidance and support over the past years. Thank you very much, Norma. Okay, our third recipient is for the Outstanding Citizen, Barbara Calderio. Okay, Barbara was born to David and Edna Thorne in Jersey City, New Jersey. She was raised in Lyndhurst and is a resident of Saddlebrook for 14 years. Barbara is married to Dominic Del Rosso and has 3 children, John David, Wendy, and Georgette. Barbara has raised and cared for 20 foster children through the Bergen County Division of Youth and Family Services and has adopted 3 children. Barbara attended Lyndhurst High School, Prudential Secretarial School, and Bergen Community College. She is retired, and her passion for acting has led her to perform and train with the Golden Circle Theater Productions, Falling Down, Improve Troupe, and Silver Tones Chorus. Barbara wrote, directed, and was the MC of the Hilarious Follies show for 3 consecutive years. She was also a fashion model for the Valley Hospital's senior fashion shows. Barbara entertains and leads programs for the Saddlebrook ARP and has appeared as Mrs. Claus for the Saddlebrook Christmas celebration. She is known throughout Bergen County for entertaining audiences with her one-woman Edgar Allan Poe show. Barbara is an ordained elder and deacon of the First Presbyterian Church and has conducted celebrations of life. I could tell you, Barbara, I've seen her productions. She's wonderful at the senior center. She's basically like an entertainment director, and she takes charge there, and the seniors love her. She also does work, I believe, in Fairlawn at other senior centers and throughout Bergen County. Thank you, Barbara. Okay, the fourth recipient for her role in education is Mary Ellen Gallo. Mary Ellen was born to William and Dorothy Van Winkle. She was raised in Saddlebrook and is a proud lifelong resident. Mary Ellen is married to Ralph Gallo for 43 years, and they have 3 children, Ralph, Andrew, our recreation director, and William Gallo. Mary Ellen attended Saddlebrook High School, William Patterson College, Mary Grove College, Ramapo University, and Stevens Institute of Technology. That's a lot of colleges. Mary Ellen became a teacher and taught for 26 years until her retirement from Long Memorial School in 2014. Mary Ellen is a trustee of the Saddlebrook Education Foundation, a member of the Saddlebrook Fire Department Engine 2 Ladies Auxiliary, and a member of CASA, which is Citizens Against Substance Abuse. I think she's a founding member of that. She helped establish Safety Town and served as a coordinator for many years. Mary Ellen also coordinated the town-wide 6th grade overnights for 3 years and is a recipient of the Long Memorial School Teacher of the Year Award. She is also a member of the Saddlebrook Community Partnership Committee and has chaperoned project graduation for many years. Since her retirement, if you can call that, I think what Mary Ellen does is she works and then she goes on vacation, and that's all she does, but nothing in between. But she's working currently she's back in the classroom as a substitute teacher, and from what I understand, she's in there most every day when she's not on vacation. She tries to inspire the children to be all they can be. She's told every one of her students, including my kids, that they are her kids and will always be one of her kids. Thank you so much, Mary Ellen. Okay, last but not least, for her role in business, we have Bayo Zoo, more commonly known by us as Jessie. Jessie was born in China to Li Song and Mu Zian. 20 years ago, Jessie moved to the United States and has lived in Saddlebrook for 10 years. Jessie and her husband, Andy, have 3 children, Anthony, Karen, and Charles. 12 years ago, Jessie became the owner and self-operator of the Dynasty Buffet. She dedicates most of her time there, where she enjoys meeting and greeting the people of Saddlebrook, who she says are all very nice. Jessie and her husband, Andy, have participated in community policing program with the Saddlebrook Police Department. They also support the Law Enforcement Against Drugs program and generously participated in the Township's 300th anniversary celebration events. In her free time, she enjoys being with her children, shopping, and sightseeing New York and New Jersey. So, Jessie, thank you so much for all you do. Okay. I'd be remiss if I did not mention our council president, Flo Mazer, and our councilwoman, Karen Darminio. Now, I want to recognize them because all they do, their outstanding service as council members. I also feel like I have to do it because 3 of the 4 years I've been here, one of them has been the council president. And they can make my life miserable if they want to, but they never do. So anyway, but why don't you come up? And
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
I'm going to call everybody up.
Okay.
Besides being outstanding council members, it's nice that we have women that are on the council to bring a woman's perspective to, and that perspective is valuable to us here as council members and the mayor. So they,
I
that.
agree.
Yes. Well, God knows that, I don't always see things like a woman, so, and they don't see things like a man.
Well, we try to enlighten.
Right, yes, and they do. Never at a loss for words. Anyway, all the women that, the recipients, could you please come up? We're going to take a photo together. Tommy, you gonna?
Should I show you?
Yeah, see that, they gotta show me. Yeah, you come up now, stand up, Tommy. That's good.
Thank you.
Can all the honorees just hang out a couple of minutes? Just Councilwoman DiArminio and myself, we do have a resolution that we'd like to read to you, present to you.
This is a resolution for Women in History Month. Nevertheless, she persisted. Whereas women of every race, class, and ethnic background have made historic contributions to the growth and strength of our nation, state, and township in countless recorded and unrecorded ways. And whereas women have played and continue to play a critical economic, cultural, and social role in every sphere of life, and whereas women have played a unique role throughout our history by volunteering and establishing charitable, philanthropic, and cultural institutions. And whereas women have been leaders, not only in securing their own rights of suffrage and equal opportunity, but also in the abolitionist movement, the emancipation movement, the industrial labor movement, the civil rights movement, and the peace movement, which create a more fair and just society to all. And whereas, despite these contributions, the role of women in our history has been consistently overlooked and undervalued. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Township Council of the Township of Saddlebrook that it hereby joins the national celebration of Women's History Month, and be it further resolved that the Township Council hereby recognizes and congratulates the honorees here tonight for their distinguished service to our community. Thank you.
Yeah,
Oh, you know that. I know that. I know the truth for like 20 years. I keep forgetting. I keep thinking of like his 30s. Yeah, he's 30. She has
Could I just say something for a minute, if you don't mind? I like to congratulate all of the women, but especially Barbara and Shannon. Shannon, I have been doing projects and activities a very long time, and I am so glad you're here. You took the ball and you ran with it. You brought in new ideas, new things. It's very successful, and I want to thank you very much for what you do. I appreciate it. The town appreciates it. So from me to you, thank you. Barbara, you have enlightened the senior center in amazing ways, really. Her programs, her, as the mayor said, everything you do, the games, the prizes. We have a wonderful time, and I want to thank you for doing that for us. And I want to thank all the other women. I just don't want to, but I know these two women, I work with them. So congratulations to all of you. Thank you.
I too, on behalf of the entire council, because I'm not going to let them talk, not yet anyway, I'd like to congratulate each and every one of our honorees. Thank you for your amazing dedication and awesome service. We're so very proud of each and every one of you. Thank you. Okay. So at this time, we are going to make a motion to open the meeting to the public.
Motion.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The meeting is now open to the public. Anyone wishing to be heard, please come up to the podium and state your name and address. No one? Okay.
Okay. Good evening. Thomas Van Winkle, 128 Lincoln Avenue. I just wanted to talk a little bit about the Mayor's Youth Group. We met on the 21st, just a week ago, to discuss many projects, including our participation with Michael Maniscalco's Eagle Scout project of completely redoing the playground at Avon Park. The first event we're going to be helping out with is what's called the Battle of the Pies on March 10th from 12 to 4 p.m. Different pizza places from town are going to come in and compete for bragging rights for the best pizza in town. It's going to be a hard choice because we have many great pizza places in town. That'll take place in the basement at the First Reformed Church at the corner of Ackerman and Saddle River Road. You just park in the Saddle Road parking lot, take the door, it'll take you down to the basement. So. Also in May, on May 19th, which is also a Saturday, there will be a car wash that we're going to help out with at Washington School. And then on June 9th, the project work will begin. And also, we will be helping out with the Easter activities, including the stuffing of the Easter eggs, which I believe it's going to be March 17th, right, Mayor? Yeah, it's going to be definitely March 17th. Okay. Yeah, that'll be at the Veterans Field trailer, yeah. Starting at 11 o'clock. And then a week later on the 24th is the Easter celebration at the Brook High School. That'll go from 12 to 2 p.m. So we are doing many things in town, and I hope we get many members, grades 4 through 12, to join the youth group. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. Anyone else? Yes.
You were practicing that.
No one else wishing to be heard? Okay, going once, twice. Motion to close? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Comments? Mayor?
Thank you. I don't know where to put this mic. Everybody can hear me, right? I want to start off speaking about President's Day weekend. We had a really rough weekend as a township, and the community was deeply saddened by 3 tragic events that occurred over the weekend. First, there was a student, untimely death, Andrew Gutierrez, a 15-year-old student at Saddlebrook High School and resident of town. Then there were 2 house fires, one on Saturday and then another on Monday. Both fires caused damage, extensive damage, leaving the homes uninhabitable. Fortunately, there was no loss of life or injuries in these fires. But through these tragic events, I was really heartened and inspired by the township and how the community, how it demonstrated compassion and resilience in the face of these tragedies. So I want to thank all who contributed or were able to assist in some way. For example, with Andrew Gutierrez, over 200 people attended a remembrance vigil to pay tribute to Andrew and to comfort his family and friends. Many of you, many residents donated funds and clothing for the Montalbano and the Galuzzo families who were displaced by those fires. Special thanks to our first responders, the police department, the volunteer fire department, and the ambulance corps for their exceptional service in handling and managing these very difficult incidents. I'm also grateful for the assistance of the Saddlebrook School community and Pastor Wolf of the First Reformed Church, who on Saturday opened the church, the basement of the church, for the students of Saddlebrook High School to come and mourn and to just talk about what had happened. And it was very good as for grief counseling and just to let the kids vent, which they say is something that is good when these type of tragedies happen, like the death of a fellow student. The Township Council and I continue to extend our thanks, our thoughts and prayers, rather, to all the families that were affected. And if there's anything more that we can do to assist, please call us at 201-587-2903. At any time, call, and we'll gladly try to do anything we can to assist all those families. Thank you in that regard. I have some other comments I'd like to go through quickly. Regarding the budget, I submitted, along with, along with Pete Ladico, our business administrator, and the clerk, to the council of our budget for 2018 for their consideration. We'll be scheduling meetings on the budget sometime in the near future. We hope to introduce the budget in April and hopefully adopt it in May. I want to talk about the senior tax freeze because this is a program which most seniors know about, but some don't, that reimburses eligible residents, seniors, and disabled individuals for property tax increases. Those who know should be getting their blue books, or what they call a PTR-1 form. The applicants must fill their portion of the form out and bring it to our tax collector to have her sign and certify as proof of your property taxes that were billed and paid. If you don't receive the blue book, or you want to see if you're eligible for the program, or if you have any questions, you can call 1-800-882-6597. That's 1-800-882-6597. And we're going to put this information on the town website and the Facebook page and on the television as well, so that everyone is notified of this really good program that's out there. Next, grants. We received $200,000 from our New Jersey DOT grant for resurfacing Fairlawn Parkway. The turnaround on this grant was very quick. It was just a couple of months ago that we submitted the application, so we're very happy about that. We also received $10,000, a SAGE grant, for restoring Avon Park Playground to make it handicap accessible. These funds will be incorporated as part of Michael Maniscalco's Eagle Scout project, which is to replace the outdated equipment with new playground designed for children with special needs. Our 2018 road and water projects. We have a resolution to be voted on tonight at first reading. That's paving of LaGregne Street, Hayes Drive, Erie, and Nedlick, Erie Street and Nedlick from Leonhardt to Rugby. And we're also recommending replacing the water main on President Street before Public Service paves that road. And that's also on for tonight for first reading. Regarding our 2017 road resurfacing projects, which we didn't get done in 2017, but they're all ready to go for the spring coming up, along with our New Jersey DOT grant projects. There's also an ordinance on tonight to appropriate funds from the Bergen County Open Space Grant, which we received, and the balance from our 300th anniversary fund. With that money, we'd like to start phase 1 of the work at the park, Tricentennial Park, on Platte and Saddle River Road. So this will be a capital expense without bonding. At least this first phase will be. Major projects, veterans concession is down, and bathrooms, it's down to a punch list. On the inside, the outside pavers have to be installed and some paving. The senior housing site work has begun, and the structure, we were told, should be standing by July of this year. They might not be finished with the whole project because they're going to have interior work to do, but they're moving right along. It's good to see that. They're doing the site work there. Every day there's work being done. The town hall generator, the contractor should be back next week to start start up and finish the work. There's been a little lull there for a while because of permits and such. We had a meeting, myself and Pete Ledico, with Public Service, Electric and Gas, the Electric Division, to discuss holiday lighting on Market Street. This is something that actually Councilman Samaluka came up with the idea. He's been approached by many residents that they'd like to see more of a Christmas display along Market Street like you see in a lot of other towns. So we discussed that, what we need to do to get the electric on the pole, some kind of service to plug the lights in. They gave us a proposal also. Part of the meeting was to replace the older style lights that we have in town, street lights, with the newer, more efficient bulbs, which will save us on our monthly cost for that. And they're all going to get us a price on the electrical outlets on poles along Market Street. They hadn't done that yet. They needed to speak to someone else that specializes in that area. Handicap parking spaces on street this is for handicap spaces on the street outside for Avon Park, for Fifth Street Park, the library, and then the new Tricentennial Park, Saddle River Road and Platte. We want to work with the town engineer, the police department, and the Access for All Committee to see if there's any other locations that we can put these handicap spaces. Mostly, I'm talking about places that don't have a parking lot, where like Avon Field, there's no parking lot. So people have to park on the street outside. So it makes sense to have a handicap spot nearby, so this way they don't have to, and especially Avon Park, because we're trying to make that more handicap accessible. And that's really where we came up with the idea. And Michael Maniscalco came up with the idea in our Access for All Committee. So I just want to mention some events that we have coming up. March 10th, we have Battle of the Pies fundraiser, which Thomas mentioned, for Michael Maniscalco's Eagle Project. That's 12 to 4 at the First Reformed Church. March 13th and 14th is the mental health training, 6 to 10 at Saddlebrook Senior Center. I'm sure Councilman Samaluka will bring us a little more information on that. March 24th is our Easter celebration. It's a Saturday, 12 to 2 at the Saddlebrook High School gym. That's free to all residents. March 30th is the ambulance Corps Fish and Chips, 5 to 8 at the VFW. It's $13, and it's for a very, very worthy cause. So I hope to see anybody that can to go to that as well. I just want to wish everybody a happy St. Patrick's Day, happy St. Joseph's Day. Again, I want to congratulate all the women that were honored here tonight. They all deserve it and do contribute a great amount to our community. So thank you for that. Thanks.
Thank you, Mayor. Council comments?
Sure. I would like to congratulate 7 fine young women that were honored tonight. Congratulations. In regards to Michael Maniscalco, this young man he's only, I believe he's going to be 16. He's done so much as a 16-year-old kid for the township, especially with kids with special needs. So if you could come out, donate, volunteer, and help this kid out, it would be much appreciated. I would also like to thank Amy Higgins. After the passing of Andrew Gutierrez, she reserved the VFW for students to come back after the service to kind of wind down and talk to each other and just get their minds off of it. And she had, I believe it was like 160 children that showed up. So I just wanted to thank her for doing that. I don't have as much as Bob does, or probably Andrew, but I would just like to wish everybody a happy Easter, happy St. Patrick's Day, and that's it.
Good evening, everyone. I'd like to apologize for not being here last month. My dad was very ill, and I'd like to thank the mayor and council for reaching out to me. I was in Tennessee for 2 weeks. I'm seeing him get a little bit better, and he's doing well now, so thank goodness he's doing better, and hopefully it continues to improve his health. So thank you very much. I'd like to start with our first responders with the 72-hour to-fire event, and I'd like to thank the Chief, Sloma, and Captain Harry Reed for your leadership during that difficult time, so thank you. I'd also like to recognize the women in history, the 7 women that were honored. I've worked with Mary Ann Gallo with the Saddlebrook Educational Foundation, and that's how I first met Mary Ellen, and she does so much for the students, and we're lucky to have you women in the community doing as much as you do and volunteering your time, so thank you. While mentioning the Saddlebrook Educational Foundation, we're going to be having our 5K event, which is the 4th annual. Last year, we raised over $13,000 for the students of Saddlebrook. We're going to look to do that again, maybe beat that and get over $15,000. So that event's going to take place April 28th at 9 a.m. If you go to runsignup.com, you can sign up to run or walk or to be a sponsor. So that would be wonderful if we could get some people to participate. I'd also like to wish everybody a happy St. Patrick's Day and wish you well. Thank you very much.
It's always hard to go third because they always say part of what you wanted to say. So I'd like to talk about the other night. We had a great work session. John Bialy came, and he, as the mayor said, the senior center the senior housing is finally moving along. We're going to see it, he said, July. They will start vetting. I don't think it'll be done until October or November, but it's going to happen, and I'm really excited that that's going to happen. We also had our tax attorney, our tax assessor, and the reassessment company that did our rolling reassessment, which is really, really working out well. We became proactive, and we don't have the numbers yet for the budget, but we are not going to see a big increase. And I thought if there is a problem with your assessment, they are very willing to speak to you, to talk to you, and to go over it with you and fix it. And I thought that was they were very good. And then I'd like to talk about the chief, the fire chief. He came before us. And as everybody has said, we have the ambulance corps captain here, former Chief Dickman, and our current chief with the fires. It was an incredible what you told us about the fire and the offense and the defense and how they fight the fires and the 1,000 degrees that they go in. And I just want to say thank you so much. We are so lucky that we have volunteers that will do this and leave their families to protect ours. So thank you. And with that, happy Easter, happy St. Joseph's Day, and happy St. Patrick's Day. Thank you.
The first thing is on the bill list, which I was happy to see, is new microphones, and they have, and the main thing is that they have a feedback suppression system, so we don't have to get our ears blown out by this. Everyone talked about the fires. One of them occurred directly across the street from my house. I was actually 9 o'clock in the morning for some reason. I was at the movies and got a phone call saying that your neighbor's house is on fire. So I ran back home and listen, just like a football game, there's a lot of Monday morning quarterbacking on anything that we do in town, including the fires. So it's one of the reasons that we all wanted to speak to the chief and talk about what happened. And he gave a tremendous presentation on Tuesday evening. I know more about fires now than I think I could have ever learned if I took classes. So he was very, very informational and explained a lot of things, because as I'm watching this house burn, there's all these people around. Why aren't they doing this? Why aren't they doing that? Well, buddy, you're not a fireman, so you don't know what you're talking about. And I kept quiet for once, because I don't know anything about fires, but all these people apparently thought they knew everything. One of the same people, you know, it's funny, today I was outside, and one of the same people it happened to be an ex-fireman, come by and started talking about the fire. and said the same thing, you know, like, why did and the guy was like, bro, you don't know what you're talking about, because if they did what you think they should have done, there were guys inside there, they would have been fried, they would have been steamed up like a lobster. You know, so for the people out there that are sitting back and saying they should have done this, should have done this, leave it to the professionals, even though they're volunteers, but they are professional as they come. And we really appreciate all our first responders. And one of the, or a couple of items that we have on here are bonding for some equipment, which the ambulance corps, which has traditionally raised money to purchase their own equipment, but it just doesn't seem like people are as giving these days. So the town had no problem whatsoever in getting a new piece of equipment, and the same thing for our fire department. So one thing I hope that you take out of this is when people are knocking on your doors, they're not begging, this can come back. Two of my friends had their houses burned down, and they are out there living in hotels now. It can happen to you, and you have the first responder. How many people see the lights going on at 3 in the morning? No one wants to be out there at 3 in the morning, but the first responders are there saving lives. So donate, and please donate generously when they come by, when you get something in the mail, and please support the ambulance corps' fish and chip dinner, which is on Good Friday. A couple of things that we talked about on Tuesday. What we want to do is some of the road projects, and I know that there was some concerned citizens on Fairlawn Parkway, and we're going to try and, we do have a grant to pave part of that. So what we are going to try and do is we talk to our engineer, is we're going to work it out and try and do some things to try and quell the traffic. And here we go, fire department's out there helping out the town. God bless you guys. What we talked about is maybe on a temporary basis, striping some of that road, so this way it doesn't look like the Daytona 500 over there. That led us into talking about the potential for getting speed tables. We've been talking about this for a long time. And through school personnel, through our engineer, through our police personnel, we're going to find out the best places to put them. It seems like everybody wants them on their street because they think that their street is the fastest roadway in town. You know, it just can't be every place. But we're going to do, they do cost money, but they do help. And what we're going to try and do is figure out the best places to put them. So we are working on that. And for the people on Fairlawn Parkway, we hear you, we know, and we know what you're going through. And you may have noticed the stepped-up patrol in those areas. So for the people out there that think 25 means 40, 25 means 25. So if it's a 25-mile-an-hour zone, it doesn't matter that the roadway is 100 feet wide. Try and do the speed limit because we are out there. We did have a child who was struck. People think that buses that have red flashing lights and stop signs are just obstacles in their way to get to work. No. You stop, you follow the law, or else you're going to get a ticket. That's just the way it is. The mayor had mentioned the mental health training. That's our Access for All committee, which we started a few years ago, and it's slowly gaining traction. Today happens to be National Wheelchair Day, which I know from Mike Stanzione, who's in a wheelchair and is one of our members. And the mental health training is going to be Tuesday the 13th, Wednesday the 14th at 6 to 10. We have a max of 25 spots. Please call Town Hall, Christine Genuario. We are going, just so you know, we are going to try and reserve our first slots for first responders and school personnel. But we need a minimum of 12 and a maximum of 25. So contact Christine at the mayor's office, and she'll get you in there. That's a very, it should be very enlightening. It is 2 4-hour sessions. It's a lot. And we hope to be able to do it again if we get enough participation, because, and we're going to report back and see how it was, and I'm sure it's going to be a great program. The last thing is, you know, and I don't know how to talk about this, but Saddlebrook is a stigma-free zone. And there is a kind of a yin and yang with the stigma-free zone and what happened in Florida and everything that's happened since then with, if you see something funny, you gotta mention it. Because the whole thing about stigma-free is that we have to treat everyone equally. But that doesn't mean that the person is going to be taken into custody or anything like that. I do agree with, if something seems a little off, there's no problem with letting people know, and it'll be investigated. My niece happens to attend that school, so I know kind of secondhand about all the trauma that went through, and I know that the mayor has met with the school board, and Saddlebrook is being proactive in terms of securing our children, so this way they're safe and sound. And they should be in a place of learning. They should be worried about learning and not about other things, and that's for the adults to worry about. And we are doing, I think, as much as we can proactively to protect our children. I thank you very much.
Thank you, Andrew. I would like to, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention what's on it, like everyone's mind, is the safety of our children. Even though the Board of Ed and the council are looked upon as being separate entities, we are one community. And I know I speak on behalf of the mayor and everyone sitting up here, and probably everybody in the room also, is that whatever is needed to keep our children safe, our community safe, just know that whatever resources you need, whatever, Board of Ed, we're here for you also. We want to be part of the solution to keep everyone safe. Please don't ever hesitate to reach out to any of us. Like I said, it's a top priority, and we really got to continue to be proactive. And if you see something, say something. Don't think anything silly. Every one of us are approachable. So please, don't ever hesitate to reach out. There were a couple other sports events that happened. Thank you, Andy. He actually left on the fire call, I believe, but it was helpful because I was getting a little confused with the girls' competition, the Spirit Leaders. I believe our 7th and 8th grade team came in 3rd, our 5th and 6th finished 5th, and our mini team came in 4th. Congratulations to all of them and all the coaches and parents. You do an amazing job. And our fall soccer team also were honored this week for coming in first place in the league. We have an amazing group of children, and we're so very proud of each and every one of them. Okay, and also I too have to reiterate what everyone said up here about our first responders, our fire department, our ambulance, our police. I have a whole new level of respect for specifically this fire department, from what we heard, how, what goes into fighting a fire. It was amazing, and we thank you. We have the best of the best. Thank you. On to business. Okay. Right now, ordinances?
Ordinance 1639-18, a bond ordinance to authorize the acquisition of an ambulance and pagers for the use of the Volunteer Ambulance Corps in by and for the Township of Saddlebrook in the County of Bergen, State of New Jersey, to appropriate the sum of $325,000 to pay the costs thereof, to make a down payment to authorize the issuance of bonds to finance such appropriation, and to provide for the issuance of bond anticipation notes in anticipation of the issuance of such bonds for second reading.
Motion?
Motion.
Second.
Roll call?
Councilman Simaluka?
Yes.
Councilwoman D'Arminio?
Yes.
Councilman Garrett?
Yes.
Councilman Accomando?
Yes.
Council President Meza.
Yes.
A bond ordinance to authorize the acquisition of an ambulance and pagers for the use of the Volunteer Ambulance Corps in by and for the Township of Saddlebrook in the County of Bergen, State of New Jersey, to appropriate the sum of $325,000 to pay the costs thereof, to make a down payment, to authorize the issuance of bonds to finance such appropriation, and to provide for the issuance of bond anticipation notes in anticipation of the issuance of such bonds.
Motion open to public?
Public, second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
The meeting is now open to the public regarding this ordinance. If anyone would like to be heard on this, speak now. No?
Motion to close?
Second.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Be resolved by the Township Council of the Township of Saddlebrook that the ordinance entitled, "A Bond Ordinance to Authorize the Acquisition of an Ambulance and Pagers for the Use of the Volunteer Ambulance Corps in, by, and for the Township of Saddlebrook and the County of Bergen, State of New Jersey, to appropriate the sum of $325,000 to pay the cost thereof, to make a down payment to authorize the issuance of bonds, to finance such appropriation, and to provide for the issuance of bond anticipation notes in anticipation of the issuance of such bonds, does now pass on second and final reading, and that the township clerk be directed to advertise said ordinance or title thereof in the press, together with the notice of the date of passage of said ordinance according to law.
Motion?
Motion.
Second. Roll call?
Councilman Maluka?
Yes.
Councilwoman D'Arminio?
Yes.
Councilman Garrick?
Yes.
Councilman Accomando?
Yes.
Council President Mason?
Yes.
Ordinance passes. Ordinance 1640-18 is on the agenda, but we do have an ordinance that supplies additional funds as requested by the fire chief, so the recommendation is that we don't have a second reading, so there'll be no motion or a second on this ordinance. We have first reading of ordinance 1641-18. It's a capital ordinance to appropriate the sum of $76,200 for the construction of Tricentennial Park in, by, and for the Township of Saddlebrook in the County of Bergen, State of New Jersey, and providing that such sum so appropriated shall be raised from a county grant and from trust fund monies of the township. First reading.
Motion?
Motion.
Second.
Second. Roll call?
Councilman Maluka?
Yes.
Councilwoman D'Arminio?
Yes.
Councilman Garrick?
Yes.
Councilman Accomando?
Yes.
Council President Mason?
Yes.
Be it resolved by the Township Council of the Township of Saddlebrook that the capital ordinance to appropriate the sum of $76,200 for the construction of Tricentennial Park in, by, and for the Township of Saddlebrook in the County of Bergen, State of New Jersey, and providing that such sum so appropriated shall be raised from a county grant and from the trust fund monies of the township heretofore passed on first reading, be further considered for a final passage at a meeting to be held on the 5th day of April 2018 at 7:00 p.m. or as soon thereafter as the matter can be reached at the municipal building, 93 Market Street, and that at such time and place all persons interested be given an opportunity to be heard concerning said ordinance according to law, with the notice of its introduction and passage on first reading, and of the time and place when and where said ordinance will be further considered for final passage.
Motion?
Motion.
Second. Roll call?
Councilman Maluka?
Yes.
Councilwoman D'Arminio?
Yes.
Councilman Garrick?
Yes.
Councilman Accomando?
Yes.
Council President Mason?
Yes.
First reading ordinance 1642-18. A bond ordinance to authorize the acquisition of a fire truck and various equipment for the use of the fire department in, by, and for the Township of Saddlebrook and the County of Bergen, State of New Jersey, to appropriate the sum of $1,625,000 to pay the cost thereof, to make a down payment, to authorize the issuance of bonds to finance such appropriation, and to provide for the issuance of bond anticipation notes in anticipation of the issuance of such bonds, and to amend bond ordinance number 1613-16, adopted on October 6, 2016, for first reading.
Motion?
Second.
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 Roll call?
Councilman Maluka?
Yes.
Councilwoman D'Arminio?
Yes.
Councilman Garrick?
Yes.
Councilman Accomando?
Yes.
Council President Mason?
Yes.
Be resolved by the Township Council of the Township of Saddlebrook that a bond ordinance to authorize the acquisition of a fire truck and various equipment for the use of the fire department in, by, and for the Township of Saddlebrook in the County of Bergen, State of New Jersey, to appropriate the sum of $1,625,000 to pay the cost thereof, to make a down payment, to authorize the issuance of bonds, to finance such appropriation, to provide for the issuance of bond anticipation notes in anticipation of the issuance of such bonds, and to amend bond ordinance number 1613-16, adopted on October 6, 2016, heretofore passed on first reading, be further considered for final passage at a meeting to be held on the 5th day of April, 2018, at 7 o'clock p.m., or as soon thereafter as the matter can be reached at the Municipal Building, 93 Market Street, and that at such time and place all persons interested be given an opportunity to be heard concerning said ordinance according to law, with the notice of its introduction and passage on first reading, and of the time and place when and where said ordinance will be further considered for final passage.
Motion?
Motion.
Second.
Roll call?
Councilman Samaluka?
Yes.
Councilwoman Darminio?
Yes.
Councilman Garrett?
Yes.
Councilman Accomando?
Yes.
Council President Meza.
Yes.
First reading of ordinance number 1643-18, a bond ordinance to authorize the 2018 road improvement program in by and for the Township of Saddlebrook, County of Bergen, State of New Jersey, to appropriate the sum of $1,550,000 to pay the cost thereof, to make a down payment, to authorize the issuance of bonds to finance such appropriation, and to provide for the issuance of bond anticipation notes in anticipation of the issuance of such bonds, be passed and adopted on first reading.
Motion?
Motion.
Second.
Roll call?
Councilman Samaluka?
Yes.
Councilwoman Darminio?
Yes.
Councilman Garrett?
Yes.
Councilman Accomando?
Yes.
Council President Meza.
Yes.
Be it resolved by the Township Council of the Township of Saddlebrook that the bond ordinance to authorize the 2018 road improvement program in by and for the Township of Saddlebrook in the County of Bergen, State of New Jersey, to appropriate the sum of $1,550,000, pay the cost thereof, to make a down payment, to authorize the issuance of bonds to finance such appropriation, and to provide for the issuance of bond anticipation notes in anticipation of the issuance of such bonds, heretofore passed on first reading, be further considered for final passage at a meeting to be held on the 5th day of April, 2018, at 7 o'clock p.m., or as soon thereafter as the matter can be reached at the Municipal Building, 93 Market Street, and that at such time and place all persons interested be given an opportunity to be heard concerning said ordinance according to law, with the notice of its introduction and passage on first reading, and of the time and place when and where said ordinance will be further considered for final passage.
Motion?
Motion.
Second.
Roll call?
Councilman Samaluka?
Yes.
Councilwoman Darminio?
Yes.
Councilman Garrett?
Yes.
Councilman Accomando?
Yes.
Council President Meza.
Yes.
Ordinances. Consent agenda, all items listed with an asterisk are considered routine and non-controversial by the Township Council and will be approved by one motion. There will be no separate discussion on these items unless a council member or member so requested, in which case the item or items will be removed from the consent agenda and considered in its normal sequence on the agenda. The one motion signifies adoption of all resolutions, receive and file letters, correspondence, reports, approval of minutes and applications. Not part of the consent agenda are the minutes of the February 1st, 2018 public meeting and resolution number 16. If the council has no objection, I request that we add two resolutions on. One is for the engineer authorization for the survey work to be done on Claremont Avenue, and then for the paving on North Fifth Street, which will be covered by DOT funds. And then
Any objections?
correspondence.
No? Okay.
Need a motion?
Motion?
Motion.
This is for the minutes?
Second.
We'll do the minutes? Oh, no, for that? Okay, all right. All in favor? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We have the minutes of the February 1st, 2018 public meeting.
Motion.
Second.
Roll call?
Councilman Samaluka?
Yes.
Councilwoman Darminio?
Yes.
Councilman Garrick?
Abstain.
Councilman Accomando?
Yes.
Council President Meza.
Yes.
And we have the resolution, number 16, approved payment of bills. Councilwoman Darminio is reclusing herself and then left the dais for the roll call.
Motion? Do I have a motion?
Second.
Motion.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Motion.
And a second?
Second.
Roll call?
Councilman Samaluka?
Yes.
Councilman Garrick?
Yes.
Councilman Accomando?
Yes.
Council President Meza.
Yes.
That's it.
That's it, you come back. Okay. Old business, anybody, comments? I'll start. That's fine. Old business, anything?
Okay, I don't know, it's actually old or new business. Okay, things, the mayor had mentioned that one of our recipients, Mary Ellen Gallo's son Andy, is our rec director. I think he's finishing up, is it his first, past his first year? It might be. Yes. Second year. He's in his second year. Okay, so he's been doing things, and we've been talking to all of them about extra things to be done. And as a full-time rec director, he's doing his job. And one thing, he reports to us every month, which is awesome. And he's been talking to people at the New York Jets for tickets to a game. Last summer, a bunch of us went to the inaugural Saddlebrook recreation trip, and we went to Citi Field. It wasn't that many of us, but we did have a good time. We had good seats, and it was a good game. So he's working on trying to do the same thing for a Jets game this season. He's also reported that he's working with something called the NFL Experience in New York City. It's an interactive facility run by the NFL, and we are going to try and pick a day. We're not going to get a bus trip there, but you buy your own tickets and get yourself into the city, do whatever you want, but we're going to have, I believe it's going to be a set time for Saddlebrook to be there and interact and do the, I think there's football throwing and receiving and films. It's like a little, a mini Hall of Fame over there. And he did indicate that this Saturday, hopefully this will be on TV, I think it gets on pretty quick, but this Saturday, our recreation basketball is going to be holding their kind of field day at the high school. I think Andy said it's from like 2 o'clock till 10 o'clock at night. All rec basketball players are going to be there. They're going to have all kinds of contests. So it's other items that one of the reasons that we hired a full-time rec director is to put together things like this. I think Andy's doing a great job, and I'm happy to see that we are doing things, baby steps, but we're getting there, and it's just going to keep getting better and better. Thanks.
I don't want to turn this mic on. I think this mic is the most problem. So every time I turn it on, we get a lot of feedback. I know when I turned it on before, when you turned it off, it got better when you were talking, Andrew. But anyway, just quickly, the Spirit Leaders, Flo mentioned that. I want to also congratulate them for their performance in the Nationals. They represented our town very well there, so congratulations to them. Todd mentioned, which I want to say, reiterate what he said about Amy Higgins. I forgot to mention that, but what she did was absolutely brilliant, and she took it on her own to talk to the school district as a parent and to get the VFW, which she's a member of, and use that hall and bring all the kids back after the funeral of Andrew. So, and she really went above and beyond to do that. So I want to thank her very, very much for that. And I forgot to mention her when I spoke about the tragedies. I have a couple other things, new business.
I have something, I don't know if it's old, I guess it's new business. The other night at the work session, one of the residents came, and Mayor, you had discussed this with her about the trailer behind the Walmart with the freezer trailer with the compressor keeping up the neighbors at night, and the garbage. They took care of the garbage. She couldn't come here tonight. She wanted to, so she asked me to bring it to your attention, that the garbage is all taken care of, but they have no idea when they're moving the truck. So I just wanted to give it to you as a follow-up, if maybe you could follow up tomorrow, because they did tell you they were going to move it, but they didn't tell you when.
They were there today, and they are trying to figure out where to move it. And they're gonna be moving it either tonight or tomorrow.
Oh, good, okay.
But they have to move it somewhere close. They can't move it out in the front because of zoning laws. But I think that they're gonna take care of it.
Well, that's good, because the other neighbors were now
Right.
complaining about the noise.
Right, and then Tony Ambrosio went over there too to try to look and see what the, the best area would be. But
Okay,
they're
well,
working on
Thank
it.
you for taking care of that. That's all I have.
I just wanted to talk a little bit about, Flo brought up the school security, and I just want to let everyone know that this is a topic. I was a former police officer, retired police officer, and school security, safety, protection of the students, the children, our children, is near and dear to me. So I feel personally that something definitely needs to be done, at all our schools in light of what happened in Florida and other, obviously Sandy Hook, other schools prior to that. And, there was an incident there a couple of weeks ago, and there was a lockdown in Lodi today. Apparently, no one was hurt. It ended up being, there was it ended up being unfounded, whatever happened, and wherever there was the lockdown. But we need to, it's time, not only throughout the country, but it's time here in Saddlebrook and everywhere that we got to take this stuff seriously. And we can't just, at the time it happens, beef up the security, and then, and then a couple months later, forget about it. We got to come up with a solid plan to make sure that our schools are safe. What I did was, after the incident that happened at the high school, I met with the superintendent, interim superintendent, Anthony Rashika, with the chief. We talked a lot about what the problem was there, security of one particular door. So there is action being taken by the school to alleviate that problem with the door. But there's a lot of other issues that we got to do an assessment and look at other areas that need to be taken care of, other security measures that need to be taken. I have directed the chief to have our patrols increase their presence in and around the schools. I would like there to be foot patrols inside the school and around the school, at arrival, at lunchtime, dismissal, as much as possible. I think that's a good thing for police to be seen, and be seen out of the vehicle and in and around the school. So that's going to be done. And also, our Bergen County risk and school security safety assessment task force member, that's a long word, but he's Tom Johnson, who's a detective lieutenant. He is part of that group, and they meet regularly to discuss school safety. He is going to be, he's already been there once, but he's going to take a more active interest in going to the school and talking with them about what they can do to increase security. And I think we have to, as Flo said, we have to, as the governing body of the township, take an active role in what the school does, and vice versa, because this is a problem that takes a multifaceted approach with everybody. Not only elected officials, but the parents, the students themselves. So I'm hoping that we're going to make some progress. So thank you, and happy Easter, everybody. I forgot to say happy Easter. Thank you.
At this time, I ask for a motion to open the meeting to the public on agenda items.
Motion?
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
The meeting is now open to the public on agenda items only. Those wishing to be heard, please come up. Nobody? Having seen nobody? Sure.
Colosino, 316 Rugby Road. I just want to thank everybody for addressing the situation at the high school. Saddlebrook High School will become a safe place because of this. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? No. Motion to close?
Motion. Second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion
Motion
to
to close.
adjourn.
Second.
Okay. Happy St. Patrick's Day, everyone.